Yes, thank you, Corey, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar. So I just want to give you a background about the RMH order portal. We realized very early on that it was exceedingly important for us to have an order portal that will enable our resellers not to do just to do their business, but also enable them to have really a visibility and reminder about how they can make more money by using the order portal. So as part of all of that, we spent quite a bit of time, talking to different resellers to understand what their needs and requirement was, and hopefully this has been included in here. However, I want to invite all of you to please feel free to either get in touch with me or with Jeff or with your partner account managers and give them feedbacks about enhancement, improvement, and changes that you would like to see in the future on this particular product. So to access the RMH order portal, you need to be a reseller. Once you have signed up to be a reseller, your partner account manager will ask you to come to the order.rmhpos.com and you will have to register to create yourself a user ID. And the registration process is rather simple. You select the option to register, and you have got a few fields that you need to fill in, and it will ask you for your country, and that will identify for us which distributor company you should be associated with. So if you are in the UK, you'll be associated with the UK distributor, in Ireland with the Irish distribution company, or in Sweden with Swedish, etc. So by looking at that, we will associate you to one or the other distributor. And you will then receive an email, and your account will not be activated until you respond to that email, and that will validate that the email is a true email and not some bots that has filled in the form for us. Once you have that, your registration activated, your partner account manager will see that and will approve it, and you will then be able to use it to access the system. When you access the system, you will land on a main screen, and that home screen has got a dashboard. We are hopefully, keeping the dashboard to a minimum of what is critical for you to know informations on. But I like to spend a bit of time just explaining the different parts of this particular dashboard. So the first part of it is we are confirming the company that you work with. And we say in this case, PTD Technology is logged in. And we also identify which is the distributor that you are working on. Now, we do foresee in the future that you may be having to work across multiple distributors. So we are finalizing a distribution agreement with a Latin American distributor. So if you are based in Florida and you're doing work in the US, you'll be dealing with the Retail Management Hero direct. But if you have got a customer in the Caribbean, Spanish Caribbean, or in Mexico, or in LATAM, then you will be dealing with the LATAM distributor. Same thing in Europe. If you have got customers in the UK and Ireland, you might need to work across multiple distributors. So we will actually allow a reseller to have a relationship with multiple distributor, but you will have a home distributor that will be your default distributor that you will be defaulting to. But if you need to order from another distributor, you can. Now, if you have a need to work with another distributor, that relationship needs to be arranged either by your existing distributor or your partner account manager to give you access to the other distributor that you need. Otherwise, as standard, you don't have access to all of the all of the distributors. So the other part of this screen is, if you look at the arrow that appeared on the left pointing to John Smith, is an ability for you to have a look at the profile that we have for you. So if you click on that, you can have a look at the profile. We're giving you information about your name and your current email address, your contact details, and if you want to change that, you can. And if you ever want to change your password, you can change your password in here. Or you can, while you are logging in, you can say, I forgot my password, and we will send you an email for you to reset your password. So you can do that. You will also notice that at the bottom left there is a profile picture. So if you want to put your picture there so that when you have got multiple screens open, you know exactly who is working on what, you can do that. So that's entirely up to you. The other part of it is on the top right of the screen, you see this sign for switch. And what this allows us to do is if you're currently with a retail realm distributor, but you want to switch to the LATAM distributor, you can switch, and now all of your orders and all of the activities that you're going to be working on will be vis-a-vis the LATAM distributor. Please note that the pricing and the currencies may change. So if you are working with a UK distributor, you may be getting prices in pound sterling or in euro in Republic of Ireland, or in other currencies depending on what distributor country you're in. Now, when we come back into the main dashboard, I want for you guys to notice that you have got several options that are showing on the menu to the left. So the switch is available also on the top left of that menu. You have got the home where we have got all of the dashboards. And then you have got orders, customers, your own users, licenses, and then your company profile. We are planning to add one more area in this, which is reports. We are right now finalizing the reports, so this is not there, and I will not be able to show that to you. But that report area will be coming in over the next 60 days into the system. So we want to make sure that you can, for example, print all of your customers and print all of the stores of your customers and print, for example, various information about customer renewals and other information that might be relevant for you, and statistics. Okay, so let's start by having a look at also this other area in the system, which is to maximize and minimize the screen. So if you're on a tablet or a mobile platform, it will enable you to have more screen space available for activities that you do. We have tried as much as possible to make this solution mobile friendly, so you should be able to use it in a mobile terminal if you have to. All right, so let's have a look a little bit at the dashboard itself. There are, in this case, 8 panels, and they are both color-coded with descriptions. And so the first one is draft orders, and then you go to quotes and pending orders. So let's understand what that means. The first two, the draft orders and the quotes, are when you are working on creating an order, but you don't have all of the details yet in hand. Maybe the customer is asking you to give them a quote before they actually sign up to go. In some countries, they need to actually get a pro forma invoice or some kind of a quotation before they can send you the money. Like, for example, if you're in Nigeria. So you may want to be doing that before you actually generate a real order. So make sure you have the money and you have everything else before you actually generate the orders. The draft and the quotes, our operations team can visualize them, but they will never process any order that is either a draft or a quote. And please note that the draft, the quotes, and the pending orders are valid for 120 days. So if for whatever reason you haven't processed in 120 days, those orders will be automatically taken off the system because prices change and conditions change, and we will need to re-enter those prices and quotes all the way from scratch again. Now, the pending orders will be, orders that you have placed with us, but for some reason they are on hold. Maybe because of credit limit, maybe because there was some incident that you called us and said, hey, hold on this order, don't process it for me because the customer is now saying that he's not sure that he wants 5 or 6, or maybe he wants less, or he doesn't want it anymore. So I want you to put it on hold until I know more about it. So those kind of things, we can actually, help you with. So those are the first 3 areas. And if you click on the view details, if there was any numbers, it will show you the list of all of those pending orders and quotes. Similarly, on credit holds, we have got basically 2 types of credit holds. You can be on a credit hold on a particular order. So let's say you have got a $20,000 line of credit. and you put an order that takes you to $21,000, worth of overall credit expenditure, that particular order may go on a credit hold, whereas your account is not on a credit hold, because as soon as, if you want to pay that order in cash or in check, we can process that and take care of it right away. But if you want to charge to your account, we will not be able to do that until your account has been brought down. The other option of a credit hold may be somebody's whose credit history is bad, and we have determined that we don't want to accept any orders from them until they resolve the problem that they have with us, in which case their whole account will go on credit hold. And if they try to put any kind of orders, the system will actually tell them that they cannot put an order because they are on credit hold. So those are two different types of credit hold: a credit hold on a specific order, or your whole account is on a credit hold. And in case of all of those, we always put an actual explanation of what it is, why you're on credit hold. And we're always more than happy to work with you to arrange whatever payment plan it is that we need to do to get you out of those credit holds. So the next part of it is the second row and the two green buttons. These are having to do with customer renewals. And you will see that customer renewals, the first part of it is how many customers you haven't sent a renewal notice. Now, when I started working in the IT field many years ago, the Price Waterhouse used to have a document that said, a stable software company is a company where their operation cost is paid by reoccurring revenue. Now, one of the biggest part of their reoccurring revenue is your enhancement plan renewal on a yearly basis. Your customer is using the software, they need access to you, you're giving them services, you're giving them new pieces of software. You really should be charging your customer on a timely manner for the renewal. Now, I understand that a lot of our resellers, because of their size, they may not have the infrastructure to be able to invoice people on a timely manner, or even remember which one of their customer is up for renewal. So we want to help you with that, and we're not only giving you the dashboard to remind you, but there is automated renewal notice that you can configure with your own logo to be sent automatically to your customer. It will come with your email, so that the customers will know that there is a renewal that needs to be happening, and then you can then contact them to actually send them the bill. So those are areas that we really would like to help you with. And the other part of it is current renewal notices sent. So if you have sent the renewal notice but you haven't heard back from them, you can actually view to see how many have been sent and what has been the status of those sent ones. Next one is customers that are up for renewal in the next 60 days. So if they signed last year and they signed, in July, in May and June, you should actually start seeing, as I approach the 60 days, that this customer is up for renewal, and it will start, counting down how many days they have left before their enhancement plan expires. And please notice that when the enhancement plan expires, two things happen. There are penalties that they will pay, so they will pay a higher percentage for their enhancement plan, and also you get less margin whenever the customer enhancement has expired and you renew it. So rather than making the regular margin, you will make a much lower margin. If you want to know what those margins are, please talk to your PAM, and we'll be more than happy, to go over that, with you. So let's have a look at what happens when you are doing a customer renewal, and you actually bring the list of the customers that are up for renewal. In this case, what I can do is I can click on a customer, and it will actually give me an enhancement plan renewal data. It will tell me for this particular customer, these are the products that they purchased, the date that they purchased them, the date that the renewal was for, and also what amount is the lapse fee and what amount is the total amount. And you can either print this as a PDF to be sent to the customer if that's what you want to do, or for yourself, or you can email me as an attachment, to whoever you want to do. So you can have always access to that. So hopefully that will help you a lot. So let's now look at my company profile, which is at the bottom left of the menu options, and see how your company is defined and how we as the overall distributor see your information. So the first part of it is you can see assign multiple distributor. So if you're assigned to multiple distributors, you can't change that, but you can actually view to see which distributors you're linked with. So if you see that the French distributor is not on your list and you're going to be dealing with France, then you need to contact your main distributor or your PAM and ask them to please add France distributor there for you to be able to process. All right, so that's the first part. The second part shows you who is your default distributor. So in this case, Retail Management Hero is the default distributor. Now we also assign you an account number, and we normally want to have information about your tax, VAT or GST ID. That's more for internal record purposes, so that in case we are audited by the IRS, we can actually show that we have collected those information, and that we are certain that you guys are legal companies and you're properly registered. All right, so then the next part of it is you will see right below the country code, there is a credit hold with a credit hold description. So if your total company was on credit hold, we will be putting something then. We will say, have tried to call you, cannot get any answer. We have got unpaid invoices over 400 days old, or whatever it happens to be the description. So that will then completely block you from putting any orders. Whereas I will show you later on a particular order, if you put a credit hold, it only impacts that particular order and not your whole order system. You can still put orders into the system. All right, so let's have a look at the address information. So we have designed the address information so that we can capture the information for you. And obviously, the zip code is alphanumeric, so that in case you are in a European country and you're using alpha numbers, you can do that, and you defined what is what state and what address you are in. Payment information. Now in the United States, it's all United States dollars, but we do have customers where the order currency maybe in one, and the billing currency could be in something else. So maybe they order in euro, but we will invoice them in pound sterling. So those kind of things can be happening, and the rate will be published accordingly. Now I've just put a NewCo logo, but you can put your own company logo in here, and what that will do is all of your renewal notices to your customers and correspondences that you will have to the external world from our order portal website will be customized with your identity and logo. We have got enhancement renewal messages and subscription renewal messages. And you guys may not have heard about subscription, but I will first of all, let me address the enhancement plan renewal messages. So what we have done is on the top, you see there are 4 buttons of company logo, the various information about existing number of lanes, anniversary date, customer name. So as you are typing, when you need to use the customer name, you just click on that and the customer name will appear. So that way you're creating a template email that will be sent out to all of your customers. Now, if you wanted the logo on the top or the bottom, you can actually identify and put your logo, and then your NewCo logo or whatever the logo is will appear in here. You will see that it is an easy system. It has got left justify, right justify, with some minor capability to do bold and italics, etc. So this is very important because this enhancement plan will be the one that will be then sent to the people. Now please note that the enhancement plan will only be sent if you have got right below the tax exempt, there is a tick mark that says auto send customer renewal notice. So you are making a decision to automatically send customer renewal notices to all of your customers. Now you can override that on specific customers. So you can say, yeah, I want to send it to all of my customers, but this particular customer that I'm having a dispute on, I don't want to send a renewal notice. So you can actually exclude under the customer profile the auto send feature. So let's have a look at the other part of this, and that is the subscription. Now, Retail Management Hero is introducing the RMH Central, and that product is going to be on a subscription-based pricing strategy, and that will be shared with you through your resellers and through your distributors and partner account managers. But clearly, you will have to be reminding your customers that their subscription notice is coming to an end, and they need to be, either giving you a new credit card, or you'll be just notifying them that you're going to be recharging their credit card for the value of the next 12 months or whatever it happens to be. So we're allowing you to put those same information. Now you notice in here that the icons on the top have changed. So we also now have got the how many RMH Central stores do you have, how many users do you have, again, your company logo, etc. So this is available for all of the activities that you do. We also have got, I wouldn't call this a CRM, but ongoing notes. So you can come in here and put various notes that you want in your company. It could be describing your company. It could be about discussion that you have had with us that you want to document in the system for yourself and for us to be able to see. So, for example, in here we see that John Smith has said that P Technology specializes in supermarket and electronic retailers. So if this is something that you want us to know about, so that when we get leads and we are aware of the fact that you guys are specializing in supermarket, okay, then the PAM will see that and say, hey, let's make sure that when we get a supermarket, we don't forget that this company does that, and if it's in their region and they have got the capability, let's just give it to them to do it. So those are, and each one of the messages is always tagged and dated with the name of the person who has put it in. All right, so if you, from over here, if you look at where the arrow is, I can click on my users, and it will show me the list of all of my users that are currently tagged with my company. I can open them up and have a look at them. I can also create NFR tokens. So in the previous versions of last year and before with Microsoft, you had to actually request an NFR key, wait for somebody to actually generate an NFR key and send it to you, which was both time consuming and frustrating. So what we have done is we allow every one of our resellers to generate a not for resale key. And I want to be very clear, this NFR key for the reseller is only for the resellers. You shouldn't be using it to prepare your customer database. This is for you to be able to go out there and do demo. If you want to set up your customers, we have a different NFR key, and we will be covering that. So this NFR key is for your internal sales force, for your internal support people. So we allow you to have up to 20 NFR keys per company. That expires after 12 months. So every 12 months, you need to renew the key. And this key allows you to have up to 20 POSs per instance of NFR. So if you have got, one person who wants to have 5 or 6 point of sale manager on their laptop and be able to show that, they can do that. And if you want somebody else to have, a different set of stuff, so you maybe have one database that you create for electronics, another database for fashion, and a database for pharmacy, you can have up to 20 different databases with 20 different keys that you have created. So we allow you completely to do that. And at any point in time, we allow you to come back and say, how many do you need? So you can ask for it, for how many lanes, and we will generate that. And we will also show you the keys of all of those tokens that we have actually generated. All right, so let's move from my company profile to my customers. So these will be your customers. So you will see in here you have got different fields, and the tables are sortable. You can sort them up and down alphabetically by name, by by your customer number, by address, by different areas. So you can sort them. And once you enter the customer profile, you will see that again, similar to your own company profile, we're following similar type of tab structures. So you have the contact information, and on the right, you have got various things that you can do. So let's have a look at this. So the first part of it, is your contact. We know who your contacts are. We know what the address, the primary address of this customer is. If the customer has multiple store, you will notice that on the right hand side, I have got a blue button that says my store. So I could have multiple stores, but one head office address. So this will be the head office address. Again, on the payment information, maybe the customer is being billed in a different currency. So you can have all of that defined. And the attributes actually and the notes are more historical information. You cannot change that. So this is something that if it needs to be changed, it will need to be changed by the your partner account manager or your reseller, so your distributor. So in this case, for example, this particular reseller has for this customer 87 POSs, 69 RMH manager, 0 RMH central users, and RMH connectivity is 0. So those can be changed accordingly, and it gets updated every time that you put an order in the system. And the notes for the customer is exactly the same way as the notes for the reseller, i.e., if you are taking notes every time you talk to your customer and you want other member of your company that have access to the site see what discussion you had with your customers, you can put that there. Now, this doesn't really replace a CRM, but it does provide you a small replacement, because everything is in the same place as you're putting the order. So you can have that. So for example, in this case, I've said that this customer uses NitroCell e-commerce. Now, this is something that might be relevant for other activities that you're doing, with this particular customer. All right, so if you come in here now and you have a look at my store, this will give you a list of all of those stores that are currently registered against this particular customer. And you can always drill down and get more information about that. And you can actually see what license numbers are attached to each store if that is something that you need. So you can come in here and have a look at that. So you can see that the token for that store is there. It says redeemed, and it was replaced as a license. All right, so that's for my stores. And for my licenses, you can actually have a look at all of the licenses that has been issued for all of the stores, not for a specific store, but for all of the stores. And you can then sort them out, and you can see if they have been redeemed, because maybe you are in the process of rollout and you have both 10 stores worth of licenses, but you have only installed 2. So in which case it would say the redeem date is only those 2. So you will notice that the redeem date is really important, because if there is any kind of expiry, they kind of start and end at the time that you redeem from that day forward. So you can see exactly where that is. Now the other part of it is the renewal quote. So you could have done the renewal quote via the home page, and the dashboard, or if you're under the customer record, you can have that right away. And one of the advantages in here is that you can actually convert that renewal quote directly to an order, if that is something that you want to be doing. Okay, and then you will notice in here that you can create NFR trial tokens. So if you create an NFR trial token, you can then create it for their particular customer. Now that is why I'm saying that what you probably want to do is have the ability, to do the setup for a particular customer by using their own NFR key and not by using your NFR key. And that will help tremendously by you having then to go to the customer and you install it with your NFR key, and you find that you can no longer change the name and address, and then you're calling us and complaining that how come this NFR key I've been using it to create my customer data is not working. Well, that's because you're using the wrong NFR key. The NFR key that you should be using is the customer NFR key and not your own NFR key. So you can do that, and hopefully that will resolve the issue. Also, this means that if for some particular reason, you need to they have a disk crash and you need to get them back live again, and for whatever reason their main key is not working, you can generate an NFR key for them, and that will run for a month, and that will give you enough dates for you to be able to get back to our support department and sort out the finished NFR key that you might need to have, the actual real key that you need to have. Okay, so every user, every account needs to have both users and certified users. So you can have multiple people in your company who have access to it. So you may have, somebody who's putting orders in and somebody else who's going out there and doing the installation and training. So we need to actually make sure that we identify the difference between users and certified users. So for us, the certified user is the person who has actually taken an exam and is certified. Now, you must have a minimum of one certified user per company. We recommend two, but legally you have to have one with us. Now, if that certified user moves from one company to another, their certification moves with them, which means that we are not certifying the company, we are certifying the person. So that is really important distinction, because that means that we will then ask you to nominate who else is certified in your company. And if you don't have it, you cannot put an order with us. You must at all time have at least one certified person in your company. So let's talk about ordering RMH software licenses. On the left-hand side, on the orders, we have got three options: new orders, open orders, and completed orders. So everything having with orders are all together. And when you access the new order, again, you're getting similar tabs to what you have seen on the previous screen. Your distributor, you can select it. You have got your default one. And your name in terms of reseller is there. And then you select from your list who is the customer that you want to deal with. So once you have done that, then you can go to the actual order screen, either by clicking on the standard product or say add item description, and that will take you there as well. Now, you will see that there's an apply coupon button there. I will discuss that in a moment, but not right away. Okay, so add item description. So that will take you to the standard product area, and it will allow you to select from the different grouping of suppliers. So we may have New West with their mobility bundle. We may have, RITE with some other solution. In this case, right now we only have RMH and Advantage Solution. Advantage Solution has got their iOS iPaaS solution, but in this case we select our RMH, and from the RMH we select whatever it is that we want to order. So we order the base pack and we order the RMH lane, and the system automatically calculates the prices and the discounts that you are entitled to. So once we have done that, you have got three choices. You can just save it as a draft and come back later on and add changes that need to be done. You can request a quote, in which case, you will be talking to our order team, and the order team will be working with you for a quote that will be valid for 30 or 60 days, so that we guarantee that that is the quote that you're having. And if you are now ready to actually place the order, you just click on Submit Order. Now, if you submit order, then the order will then go for processing. You also have another option here which says renewal quote. So if this was an existing customer, you can come in here, and rather than actually selecting each one of those items, you can say, I want a renewal quote, and the system will automatically bring all of the items that are for the renewal for this particular customer. So the renewal for each store and for each RMH Central will automatically appear on the list below. So you don't need to remember to input that. So that hopefully makes it a lot easier. All right, so in this case, we're going to go ahead and say submit order. And I'm going to get a message that says, are you sure you wish to submit this order? Once it is submitted, no further changes are possible from for this order. So I say, yeah, go ahead. And once I do that, it brings you to this open order area. That basically tells you these are the orders that are open, and these are the statuses that they are in. They are either draft or code, which are yours to do something. But the order that just put in is been submitted in the color code of green. Now, as the order process people start working on it, it can either go straight to finished, or it can go to pending, because they may need to get some additional information from you, or they may say it's in process, but it's not done. Maybe we're waiting for something else. So as they go through that, you will see that. Now notice that also if I go to completed order, on the completed order, you will not only see your initial order number and your customer name, but you get the pro forma invoice and the licenses that are auto-generated. So as soon as the solution is your order is completed by our order people, the invoice pro forma invoice is generated and attached, which means that at all time you have got access to our accounts information, and the accounting department will then later on come in and actually attach the final QuickBook invoice that we generate manually. But there usually is no difference between the total value of the final invoice and the pro forma invoice. And if you want to have a look at those, you can see that those are the pro forma invoice that we have generated, and these are the keys that have been generated. All right. Let's now talk about subscription orders. It is like any other order. You put your order in. The only thing is that you cannot have a mixture of subscription order and license order. So if you are ordering store and RMH Central, you need to put one order for your RMH Central, one order for your regular RMH. I also want to say to you that if you are ordering, for example, RMH, one of the things that we have under here, we have got an agreement with Shift4 for licensing that they are subsidizing. So you will be coming in here and you will be putting that free RMH and say apply coupon, and then that will automatically prompt you for how many stores and how many lanes you want, and then that will go through an approval process by Shift4 to tell you whether they are accepting your conditions or not. Again, if you want to know more about the Shift4 order, we have had some webinars on that, but if you want to know more about that, just talk to your PAM. But right now we are handling that as a subscription order. And it will then be, you will not be charged anything. You see the totals in here says 0. Okay, so once you have done that, we will then come back, and the order process, this order will remain open until such time as Shift4 actually, approves it. You will get a temporary key for 30 days on any of the Shift4 orders that you put in, so that you can start going live with the customer if you need to, or preparing for it. But obviously the final key will come once the Shift4 has approved your application. All right, so on the completed orders, we have already talked about, all of the invoices, but you can also at any point in time, have a look at a list of all of your licenses and access, the keys from them historically speaking. So if somebody has a disk crash and they reinitiate everything, usually as long as they do a backup, restore, etc., enough of the fingerprint of their overall system is the same, that you can reuse the same key as you received the first time around, but you may not remember what that key was. So we allow you to go into the license token area and actually ask for the token that was there and get it in order to be able to go live. So with that, we are 40 minutes into our presentation. Hopefully it has been useful. If there is any question for me or for Jeff or anybody else, happy to address.